TRA, the research agency. In the time we've got, guys, two very simple questions to answer. Who is TRA, and what's it like to work here, to work with us, and to paint a little bit of a picture about that. And in simple terms, those ideas of market research, data analytics, data science are central to what we do. And we like to think of ourselves as a human insights business. And ultimately, we're looking to understand why people do what they do. How to encourage more Aucklanders to cycle and walk. How to understand how COVID has impacted people's lives in terms of their time in the office versus time at home. How they're shopping for the elements that they need. How ultimately the New Zealand businesses can market to them and ultimately improve the lives of Kiwis by offering them better outcomes. And to do that, we have to know people, to understand why they do what they do. So, I'm joined with Shavana and about 70 other fantastic consultants and data scientists here in Britomart. And, we're bringing together people that have studied things like psychology and marketing, how people think and how memories are formed and how marketing works, with people that have started to work in the areas of artificial intelligence, in terms of machine learning, in terms of the statistical techniques that allows us to take that understanding of people and scale it on a national and global level. So a central idea around all of that is that we know people and can then turn that understanding of why people do what they do into direction for New Zealand's businesses to do better marketing, to build better products, to deliver better services, and ultimately to improve Kiwis' lives. And across all those 70 people that work with us here in Britomart, three key principles: diversity of people, unsurpassed capability, and a bias for action. And I'll just talk about each of those a little bit. So in terms of diversity of people, this is clearly important in terms of people's personal backgrounds. It's clearly important in terms of the range of things that people have studied and learnt and what they bring to the group. And there's a range of working styles. We're combining here people that are quite extroverted and front of house people, with people that love working with the data and the quiet of it, and the ability for those range of personality types to work together has been something that we've really built and enjoyed. Experts in their field, this idea of unsurpassed capability is really key. The team that we've developed here are globally recognized for the work that we do. They have won awards on a global stage in terms of research, human understanding. The impact of our work has been recognized. And so the ability to work with those people is fantastic from a learning perspective, and fantastic from a stimulation perspective as well. A bias for action is really interesting. In the areas of data, market research, analytics, very easy to produce more and more data, but not necessarily more answers, and not necessarily more direction in terms of what organizations need to do to be better. So what has defined TRA is that idea of bias for action, turning all that insight into clear direction for organizations to do better, to deliver better products, to deliver better services, to help their customers genuinely. So they're really key to the principles of our business and the principles of the team that we have. And we like to think about ourselves as part human and part machine. And I think that's about human understanding and to one degree, and empathy, but it's about machine in terms of the techniques to scale that insight and turn it into a business that can reach across New Zealand, reach across Australia, and globally as well. So, the human part is those ideas of psychology and marketing, why people do what they do, that understanding. And then the machine part is those ideas of data science, data analytics, the machine learning, the artificial intelligence, and putting those two things together is core to what we do, but it's also really core to how we think about the future, because machine learning, artificial intelligence, those elements are, fantastic tools for the future, but in isolation, they can just be seductive buzzwords. They can simply produce more data, more charts, and not necessarily help organizations do better for their customers. And I think what is going to be really key in the future is the connection of those techniques with human understanding. The principles of why people do what they do, the curiosity to explore and understand how behavior is changing, in a rapidly moving environment, and connecting that with those emerging technologies is central to what we do, and the curiosity and desire to do things better is really central around that. And so, in simple terms, we're shaping our business for that future. And this business has grown out of a consulting-based business. So, working with fantastic brands, like Datacom, the guys who were just on, like ASB, like Spark, answering the questions that they ask so that they can do better for their customers. Conducting market research exercises, conducting data analytics exercises to help them. But at the same time, as we think about the future and we think about those ideas of machine learning and artificial intelligence and the efficiencies and the scale that they can create, the idea of turning those solutions into SaaS businesses is really central to our future strategy. So TRA Labs is an incubator, is effectively a startup studio, turning those ideas, those prototype solutions into globally scalable SaaS businesses, and that's really important, and certainly where I want to spend some time in terms of the relevance for this audience. And in that lab space, we're building out a whole series of solutions, for tomorrow, and this is moving away from the traditional consulting models and insight to SaaS solutions, the always-on solutions, taking millions of data points, crunching that data, through automation, through machine learning, through the open text of social media, and turning that into insight. The transactions that go through our FPOS system every day, turning that into a picture of how people are behaving. Understanding, across Australia, across New Zealand, across the UK, how people are feeling about brands, and delivering that up on a daily basis to our clients. And that's what some of these solutions do. And that's really trying to reinvent the insight space so that we are delivering to that idea of human and machine. So 5 fantastic businesses that are operating in that space to differing degrees, and certainly providing pathways for data experts to join those businesses and contribute to the international scaling and growth of those businesses. And specifically in that space, what sort of roles are we looking for here? Certainly developers, both front end and back end, are certainly part of what we're looking for. The data space is really important for us. Turning all those data points that come from social, all those data points that come from surveys, all of the transactional data that goes through our FPOS terminals into manageable, clear insights is a real challenge. And that's where we need data engineers and data scientists to drive that. And big demand for that as we grow on both sides, on both the consulting side and in terms of the technology businesses as well. And this is a good point to hand over to Shavana, and maybe Shavana, you can talk a little bit more about what it's like to work at TRA.
Cool, thank you so much, Colin, and kia ora everyone. So awesome to be here. My name is Shavana, and I'm the Talent Acquisition Advisor at TRA. So basically, I take care of recruitment at TRA and for our SaaS businesses. And I sit within the people team. So we're all about really taking care of everyone and making sure that they're supported in the best way that they can, and providing people with awesome job opportunities so they can grow and be their best selves. So one of the really cool things about working at TRA is learning and development for us. So we've launched a learning program called TRA Academy, which is super cool. What that looks like is every week for 2 hours, the entire business takes out those 2 hours to focus on learning and developing and really growing themselves. So this is such a cool way for all of us to continue to grow and explore, ask lots of questions, and grow in our careers, which is awesome. And we have lots of different career paths within TRA too. So as Connor mentioned before, we've got back-end developers, front-end developers, and data folks as well. And there will be lots of opportunities that keep coming up over the years to come. So a few ways that you could find out what's on offer and how to speak to us and learn more about what we do and how you could potentially be involved. We always have job vacancies on our careers site. So I'll flick a link into the chat box shortly. And you can also sign up to a careers newsletter as well. So you can see what job opportunities come up that maybe might not be available at the moment, but you can keep an eye on what we're up to. The second thing, you can always reach out to us at any time if any of those career paths that Conan mentioned before suit you. We would love to talk to you guys. So you can always get in touch with us directly. But the most exciting one is partnering with TupuToa this year. So it'll be amazing to meet you all and help to launch your careers. So those applications open later this year, and then we'll start our internships early next year. So we're so looking forward to that. And as someone who comes from a family from the beautiful Fiji Islands, this is really close to my heart as well. So I'm really keen to get involved with you guys. So another thing we wanted to share with you is what your work-life balance would look like at TRA. So we are now a fully hybrid working environment. So that's what we call TRA Flex. And that's as simple as you can work from wherever you want and whenever you want. So as long as it's a win for you, it's a win for the work that you're doing, and it's a win for the team that you're involved with. You're all good to live your lives however you need to. We're so conscious of everyone having their own things outside of work. Maybe you want to do some learning out of work, whatever it might be, but we're super flexible and want to support everyone as best as we can. So those are just a couple things of why it's awesome to work at TRA. But overall, the people are amazing. There are so many awesome job opportunities, and we are so passionate about launching careers. So if this sounds like the place for you, we would absolutely love to talk to you. So yeah, get in touch with us, check us out, and please feel free to ask any questions in the chat box as well. Oh, we've got a question in the chat box. Yeah. What are some of the interesting applications? Oh, go for it, Connor.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'll talk about a couple. So if we think about machine learning and data science and the models that the team here create, I think one of the really interesting ones is based on a tool called Zavi. So Zavi scoops up all the interactions that happen in social media, all the likes and all the shares, which are easy data points to capture, and all the comments as well. And so with that unstructured data, the comments, the guys do an amazing job of turning that into sentiment and turning it into emotional analytics as well. So what's the emotion being expressed, when somebody's commenting on a news article in Facebook or responding to their friends in Instagram. And so that, is a really fascinating picture. Brands use that to understand how people are responding to their activity. Government organizations use that to understand quite simply the mood of the nation. I think there's some fascinating analysis being done on that data, through COVID and lockdown, understanding in emotional terms this battle between optimism and fear, and how that's fluctuated over the last 2 years through different lockdowns and over time, and that's all drawn from the comments that are made in social media, aggregating that up to a total level, and then applying the machine learning algorithms that turn that open text, that unstructured data, into emotional analytics. And that's a very tangible example, and one that has application both for brands and for government organizations as well. Hey, thank you guys. I really appreciate the time, and thank you, Shek, for hosting us.
No problem. Thanks so much, guys, for sharing as well. That was awesome. Great insights. And guys, we've just posted a link to their page as well. So go check out the roles at TRA, and you can apply now as well. And any questions that you think of as we go, feel free to pop them in the chat box or the Q&A box. And then Conan or Giovanna can answer them through as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Fantastic.